Hello and welcome to Colleague 7 Sprint Review for 19.06.02. This will cover the work undertaken between the 11th of June to the 24th of June. Our sprint goal for this sprint has been to continue progressing with the back office project, this time with the introduction of charges to the contract placement workflow. Also to upgrade the text editor throughout Colleague 7 to offer enhanced spell check, formatting and pasting options. Looking at the high-level items and to explain further, in this sprint we've been working on introducing charges against contract and rolling contract placement records. This will allow for the logging of expenses and individual one-off charges against either a timesheet or a placement record. This is one of the final components before we start on the back office area with invoice generation, and I'll give a demo on this shortly. In response to requests for a spell checker, better pasting options and stronger formatting controls, we've been upgrading our text editor from TinyMCE to CK Editor 4. Following this update, users will be able to use their inbuilt browser checkers when typing, copy and paste from Word, with the editor doing a far better job retaining the formatting, and in general work better with HTML templates. This made significant progress in the sprint, but there have been some final points to tie off, so this has been carried over to the next sprint. Again, as part of the back office project, the rate calculator has been updated to include additional and bespoke placement rates for pay-as-you-earn contractors. I'll give a demo on this shortly. In the build-up to deploying features such as allowing users to create diary entries on behalf of other users and create tasks on behalf of other users, we've investigated a central permission technique for app registration. This basically means that there is a single process for an admin to approve the rollout of these features and ensure there is no permission-based issues. And further to issues experienced when searching names on records with accent characters and umlauts, we've made several updates to handle this and ensure matching records are found. We'll now go for a brief demonstration on the key features from this sprint. Okay, so there's a couple of items to go through as part of this sprint review. Our key item in terms of what we'll demonstrate here is the charges tab that's now available on a contract placement and also a rolling contract placement. We've obviously added the timesheets tab as part of the recent sprints, and now we're on to the charges component, and that's been added as part of this sprint. So when on a second level authorized contract placement or rolling contract placement, if you have the user group permissions to enable this, just to view these options enabled, then you're going to have you've got timesheets there, and you've also got charges there now as well. And charges are for the scenario where you have an expense, one-off charge of some kind associated with the placement and or associated with the timesheet as well. And I'll go through the timesheet in a second just to demonstrate that. But within user group permissions, what you'll see is an option in here for view placement charges and also add edit placement charges. So it is an option to be able to view the charges option but not edit them and not add any new ones, just as an option to view timesheets and not add or edit timesheets. So it's just an extra component there if you want to grant users the visibility of it but not allow them to edit. That's an option there. But off the charges tab, what you can do is hit add new charge. It'll open up the view, and then you've got some standard status fields here. You've got the option to select a PO number that's been assigned against the placement, and then you can add in your description. You can advise whether or not it's to be charged or paid, and also you've then got a value, so we're entering the value. You've then got a tax option, a tax code option here, which is obviously off the tax code lookup list, and then the tax is automatically calculated on the basis of the tax code you've selected, but this is also modifiable as well if you wanted to manually update it in some way, that you could do so. And that's basically the charge record. At that point we hit save, and obviously I appreciate at the moment both with timesheet and charge this is kind of for informational purposes only, but once we have the back office area and the ability to generate invoices, these are the records that they're going to be looking at to pull in as part of that area, so that you can invoice records that are either timesheets, perm placements, rebates, charges. So you have everything that you need really in terms of the components for invoice generation. With regards to a timesheet, if we look at an existing timesheet, what you'll see is an additional option that's been added here for add new charge. You can also show charges as well, but you've got an option in here for add new charge. So this is our established timesheet that we've already created, but let's add a charge to that timesheet as well. Again, we'll say travel perhaps again, and we'll put that we're going to charge for that. Also, we'll pay for that as well. And then value-wise, we'll put in here, say 50. And the tax code that it is going to utilize will be the tax code based on the tax code associated with the candidate. So if I go back to the, back office, this is the tax code, the pay tax code. That's the tax code associated with the charge. As the agreed charge there. So we have obviously a timesheet record, and now we have a charge associated with the timesheet record. And obviously that just means that you save that, and obviously that just becomes part of the timesheet now. And then what you have is essentially a situation where you've got a charge, you've also got timesheet charge, you've got your timesheet, and then when you get to invoices, you can obviously generate, or when you get to back office area, you can obviously generate those invoices based on those associated charges. So that's the key workflow that we added as part of this sprint. The margin calculator, and in this case the pay-as-you-earn margin calculator, the updates that we've made to it are available from the contract placements, from a rolling contract placement, and also this is available from the offer area as well, an offer stage when you're creating an offer. But essentially what you have here is a margin that is basically allowed to be calculated on the basis of the charge and pay rate. I'm pressing the plus option there. It's going to show you the margin calculations that you have. For example, if one of these were to be empty, you could hit calculate and it would advise what the margin is. If you had an established margin but you didn't have the pay calculated, you could hit calculate and it would obviously calculate the pay. What we've added is the additional pay as you earn component. So if I cancel this off quickly and go to back office and switch this to pay as you earn, what that now means when we go to the margin calculator is that the additional pay-as-you-earn components have been added for you to add. And I'll go through where these are held. This is a custom list that obviously you can modify and add to as you see fit. But essentially what you're in a position to do is if you want to delete out the charge, as an example, we want to add in a W2R, maybe you have other options in AWR, rates that you want to factor in on the basis of the additional rate percentages that you're calculating or that you're including as part of the charge. With the established pay, you calculate that, and obviously it brings you up with a charge which is factoring in these established rates plus your agreed margin and your pay, which gives you obviously your charge and your gross profit, and obviously you can accept that and it will bring that through to the rate. Within the admin area under lookups, what you'll have is a section called placement rates, and placement rates is essentially this area where that calculator is bringing through that information. So you can enter in a rate, you can add in essentially a rate, so you can enter in a description for the rate and obviously the rate percentage itself within there, and from adding into this area, obviously it's then present when you're using the margin calculator to obviously calculate pay and charge. So that's the pay as you earn update with regards to the margin calculator. As always, if you have any queries or feedback, please get in touch. I'll be keen to hear from you. Also, for those using Colleague 7, feel free to submit your enhancement requests via the support team or directly to me using the above email address. The next video will be the sprint plan for 19.07.01, and as always that will contain a high-level overview of the items we intend to work on during that sprint. Thanks for watching.